There we go. Hey everybody, good evening. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Good evening. Again, I meant to start the recap earlier, but I decided to shower and just kind of get settled. So thanks, Crook, for joining us. I know I saw French message me, Beth. I just went on to bring up the YouTube from tonight, and it's so funny because the YouTube, suggests things you've seen before. And there was this one video about a dog that was, I don't know if it got ran over, had its legs broken or something, but you know how they help the dog get better, and it's a happy ending. But I was like, oh my God, I'm crying because it makes me think of my little one that I had for 13 years that I lost in May. And I really do miss him because I even took him to the doggy chiropractor at the end because he was having back problems. But I think he died of kidney failure. He was 15. But I miss my little baby because I have my other big baby, but he is not the best one to cuddle with. See, I'll show you my big. He does. I still will call him my baby, but because I got him when he was small, but he's not the best cuddler. And he loves to lick too much. So I miss my little baby. All right, so we started tonight with a budget meeting. Let's see, we came in. Now, was this just for the first one or for both?
Just for the first one.
So I signed up for public comment. We had to go through the metal detector.
Good evening. Good evening.
There was actually a good turnout. All right, guys, bear with me here. They haven't started yet anyway. So, I guess it was supposed to be some sort of budget hearing. They didn't let us in till the last minute, till basically like 6 o'clock, and they were late starting anyway, and then it ended up running late. So now you'll see that's the comptroller. He knows where all the money's at. He's the one you're gonna hear him talk later. Oops, sorry. What did I skip? I didn't think I skipped anything that huge. I don't think the mayor said much, right? I'm trying to remember. Let me look at my notes. No, he didn't. Yeah, the mayor really didn't say much. Oh, it's a prayer or something. I can't even hear. So Clark's excuse for not showing us the budget for this budgetary hearing, which again, I don't know, why are they having a budget hearing now? The budget ends on April 30th, I thought. So, a few days after is when my little baby puppy, when he passed away, so why, like, what, 4 months later? Why are they just talking this now? I don't understand. It's all screwed up, man. Nothing's right with Harvey finances. They're hiding so much. But then Clark's saying, "Oh, we didn't make the documents available because it's work in progress." Who the heck cares? Share it anyway.
Continue on. Fortunately, I apologize for those start 23-24 budget, the 23-24 mini budget, 24-25 budget.
Okay, and I'm gonna save us a lot of time here, okay? Because
recommended budget.
you're gonna hear. I took my notes, okay? So I'm just gonna mute it while I talk. So basically, sorry, let me see if I missed any comments. Did I miss any comments? No, okay. Oh, only 3 people. I figured. I know I waited. I'll make it, easy for you. The comptroller gives some sort of report. There's no visuals. There are no handouts. He says to email him with questions, and then the mayor said, "Oh, but if you do, make sure to CC me so I can, I don't know, make sure that it's okay." He's such a control freak. The comptroller says 80% of the budget is salaries, benefits, etc. But he gives us a whole bunch of unconfirmed financial info. We have no paperwork. So I have no idea if anything that he's saying is true or valid or whatever. So basically just a waste of time. And then let's see. Key has a question.
Can you just break it down? Am I gonna get my money or what?
Again, I submit expenses for approval and the decisions made based on payments we have every month, it's paid out. So that's when, again, I submission directly to the staff.
To be clear, we've had this conversation and I just.
So then Tracy Key says, "Hey, why haven't I been reimbursed after all the work I've done to help residents? Just like other aldermen may have, helped out, or maybe they like Shirley and definitely likes to hold parties. Delaney, I think we shared her receipts. She has like a few times where she spent a lot of money on food. But anyway, the point is that Tracy's never gotten reimbursed, and so then the comptroller says, "Well, I don't know. That's the mayor's decision." Then the mayor says, "Well, we're in debt, so that's why I haven't reimbursed you, basically." But then why did Clark reimburse Delaney Smith and Shirley Derwinski and the other two aldermen? Because obviously they're the alder yes men. They don't think for themselves. They just do whatever Clark wants. So that's one of the ways that Clark controls them.
I did have this conversation with Alderman. We reduced that from what so whatever if qualified and to the city of Harvard.
So blah blah blah.
That's just something that I choose to do. Just one more.
The dollars are actually the taxpayers' dollars. I too wonder how in which we're best addressing our fiscal financial management. Right now, even today, we have penalties skyrocketing with the city of Chicago and a grand total today of $47,099. Those are just 3 line items that we back.
Oh, that's a good point. So Colby had asked, she said, "Well, why haven't I been reimbursed either?" Right? She said the second ward is currently owed about $50,000 from the city. It's a lot of money. Because what happens is that as the aldermen spend their money on whatever is approved, city expenses, then they can submit receipts and get reimbursed. Isn't it interesting that the only ones who have been reimbursed are the alder yes men, the ones who just unquestioningly support and vote for whatever Clark wants, and they never have any criticism or questions. So isn't that interesting? But yeah, Clark says that we don't have money. Colby also mentioned, basically, she was just saying, let's release all the financial info in the city publicly. The mayor says, "Well, we're not going to make this document public because it's not final," which, like I said, is a stupid excuse. Okay, then we go to Randall L.
Showing up. Now, don't get me wrong. It may not be as fast as you want, but they're there. And they do a great job of what they do.
And he's kind of almost too quiet to hear anyway, but he just says, "Well, I don't need the expense account." Okay. And he says, "We're so divided. It shouldn't be that way." He said, "I don't need the expense account. Use the money from the expense account to fix up properties, etc." And I'm like, okay, but the city doesn't even do that. So that was stupid. Then Rogers comments.
Afford a property stricken community to buy asphalt or plywood. You say you got abandoned houses. Well, why don't you board them up? Well, plywood is expensive.
He says, "We've abandoned housing. Why don't you board it out? Plywood's expensive." And Delaney Smith, one of the other alder yes men, she's like, yeah. It's like, they must think we're all idiots. He says, Alderman Rogers says, "I adopted Bryant Elementary to help them, but we can't afford plywood. We can't afford demolition." Then he tells us, pay extra money yourself to get grass cut, near you. Like if you see some grass needs to get cut. Excuse me? We don't even know where our current tax money is going. Then you're going to tell us to pay our own money. And he says, we didn't dig this hole. He blames the prior administration. We all have to come together. And he also says, well, TVs or hot dogs, they're not going to hurt the budget. Well, if you have enough parties, and buy enough TVs and random stuff like that isn't needed, that does hurt the budget. So again, Rogers is another yes man. He didn't really say anything. Then the comptroller comes back.
Is accompanied by a requisition and an approval of the department head. When those expenditures exceed certain levels, and again, depending on the department, and obviously, the public works probably has larger expenses when you think about refuge collection and things like that. But every other department, they have sign-offs. The department head sign off.
He's saying we have sign-offs. We don't make bills, but we do have people sign off on bills. So no audit has ever said we were lacking in documentation. He says that's a myth. I'd like to research that though, because I feel like that's not right. I feel like I read audit reports that said that there wasn't something right. But he's just saying, Harvey doesn't do anything wrong. Yeah, right. Then where's the money?
In order to purchase, to do the purchase item, and that is what they look for in the markets, am I correct? Okay. Now, another thing I hear is transparent.
Alderman Smith talks. What does she say?
Whole foundation on the street, we had to knock it out, and guess what? Who had to clean it up? You taxpayers, because we didn't have money, because the church didn't have insurance. Okay? So, let's be real transparent on telling what the people who got all the money supposed to do with the money, supposed to do for us. Only to me, that I don't understand why we as a city that's poverty stricken poor, why nobody that's up and above our money.
So again, she just wastes their time. She says businesses haven't paid taxes. That's what they always use as a red herring to distract people. Sorry, let me see if I'm missing anything. French says Clark, you don't have money. I took everything right. You should say paying 2 times for cutting the same grass. Right, exactly. It's ridiculous, friend. So Delaney says, we don't have money to fix, for instance, the old Modern Way cleaners by my house that's collapsing. That's a city-owned property. It's been for 6 years. It's been sitting there, and Mayor Clark nor the Alder Yesman, they haven't sold it. They could have sold it any number of times to someone local who had a good idea to rehab it. So that's on you. You don't even have to spend your own money. Just stop hoarding the properties, because these properties are literally collapsing. It's so horrible. And then she says churches weren't inspected for years. Now they have to be inspected. That's not true. Churches were always had inspections, but now Clark and the Alder Yesman made churches have to buy business permits or business licenses, which is ridiculous. So it's just another fine on another expense on churches. She says, I don't steal, but you reap what you sow. Well, I haven't submitted anything for an expense account. That's a lie. We FOIA'd it and we posted it on, if you go to harveyhistory.org, it's posted there. And then this is my favorite thing that she says, like Moses says, let my money go. Like, what are you talking about? Let my money go. Where we don't know where the money is going, because you all won't show us. And then she also says, ironically, an alderman position's enough for me. Like, okay, what is that supposed to be? Then we go back to the comptroller.
All of the residents. Because we all know.
Yeah, she goes way too long.
Going around here. Okay. Thank you.
And payroll taxes, health insurance, that's been canceled. IMR paid the pension payments and they paid on a timely basis. But the other issue we brought up is about penalties on the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago Water Bill is one of the few things in Harvey under the bond that if you get.
No, yeah, it's like I wish he would talk into the mic again. Hard to hear, but he says I have no reason to deceive people. I've dealt with the feds, the AG coming here to investigate. Harvey's never been behind on payments. Like, oh my God, these people lie so much. And then Korean Davis, who's the city manager, who I maintained is not qualified to be city manager, but she's city manager anyway, because she was appointed to be that by Mayor Clark. Here's Korean Davis right here, because she was Clark's campaign manager. She says, well, why is this? What if our tax collection rate were higher? You know, and again, that's not the issue. The issue is all these empty properties, right? So I don't know. Then the comptroller says, but I need that. Oh, and then Tracy chimes in, Tracy Key.
It's costing the taxpayers, we're projected as.
Well, why is the city picking on renters for property taxes that their owners owe? And then the comptroller says, but well, we need that extra tax money. And then he says, get this, it's the tenant's job to make the owner pay for their property taxes. That is so false and not true and not their job at all. And then Colby chimes in a little bit.
$750,000 for the budget of 2026 towards litigation and legal services. So I'm trying to figure out the math. As much as we collect them, we're spending out just on litigation.
So she's saying, okay, the settlement, really it's extortion, but the extortion settlement agreement that Harvey came up with some of these businesses, where they said, okay, you're behind on your property taxes, so you pay us, the city, you pay us a fee like $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month or whatever. I forget what the different options are. That money doesn't go towards their taxes that they owe. We don't know where it's going. And then she's like, okay, but what about the businesses that have not agreed to these extortion payments to the city? So what's happening with them? And then why are the payments, again, why are they going to the city instead of to the taxes that are owed? So, you know, that we're not actually helping them to pay back their debt. Then we go to public comment.
And no immediate action will be taken on any public comment issue.
One has claimed their property found issues of what.
As well, so there really is no.
Oh, that's me. Sorry, but what happened to the first lady?
Business hours. Mr. Milsky.
Oh, did I go first? Oh, sorry, I went first.
Questions like, when will all the receipts, the bank account statements, and invoices and bids be published online? That is, if you look at the Better Government Association, there's the watchdog, and you all residents of your parks are asking for just like I said, so I want the public to know, as well as not.
Gosh, I wish they would wish they would not illegally force us to stand in the back of the room like that. Like, the visuals are so bad. I apologize. Okay, so what I commented on, let me find my comments right here. I said, when will the receipts, bank account statements, and invoices and bids, all that finally be published online? I suggested checking out one of many software programs that you can buy that will put all expenses and income in real time online for public transparency. Like, why not, right? Yeah, it costs money, but Mayor Clark finds money or donations, according to him, even though he never proves it, but he always finds money for things that he wants to do. So that tells me that he's not interested in transparency. I called for a forensic audit, just like I did with the township. And I said, we can't afford not to know where all the money is. I said, open all city books immediately to the treasurer, stop locking her out. And then I said, why do all the 4 Alder yes men get their expenses paid back, but the 2 aldermen that ask questions don't get their expenses reimbursed. I said release all the meeting documents before the meeting so we can know what's being discussed, and make a transparent process to sell and restore old buildings, giving priority to local residents and businesses, because all of those empty buildings paying taxes would make a huge difference. So why is the city hoarding them? Those are my comments. And then after that, then the mayor's lady came up, I think.
I know that you are a good man and you try very hard.
Bless her heart. This is just someone that the mayor just always counts on to just basically, she says, Mayor Clark's doing a great job. And don't worry about the money. If someone steals, he'll go to jail. Like, obviously, just supporting the mayor. Waste of time. Then Mr. Jedediah Brown comes up.
Delivering information. I just really encourage you because the cloud is trying to pass.
Okay. So he says, oh, thanks, comptroller. Thanks, Tracy Key. Then I don't know if he's trying to just bribe Key or something or what, but he says, Tracy Key, I'll pay you $100 per meeting towards your ward. Okay. And then he offers to Alderwoman Smith, he says, I'll go confront the businesses who don't pay taxes. So that was basically it. Kind of not super helpful there.
But it wasn't because I was an alderperson. It was just because I was trying to give the city.
Okay. And then let me sum up for you all the BS that he said. Sorry, did I miss anything? Let me check in with you guys. Did I want speaking shoeless? I don't know. Good question. So Mayor Clark basically says, well, I helped pay water bills when I was an alderman. I used my chainsaw to help. Don't expect to get paid for helping, alderman. It's like, but the ones that vote like you want them to vote, they do get paid. So hypocrite. And then he says, but we got donations like for July 4th and people don't believe us. Well, it's because you don't release the receipts, Mayor. And then he says the city code says I control the departments, not the aldermen. Aldermen are only supposed to legislate. They still have oversight duties, so that's stupid and not applicable. He says I have more responsibilities than the aldermen. Under Kellogg, no one complained. That's not true. Or few people complained. He said I complained. A lot of people spoke up. He says, well, I'm the rebound guy. It was stupid. The prior administration screwed you. We have those receipts. And I'm like, okay, but what about the last 6 years you've been mayor? We don't have any receipts for that time. You all only come with complaints. You have no solutions. And then I'm like, I just gave solutions, possible solutions in my public comment, but he didn't want to hear it because he doesn't want transparency. And then he compliments Jedediah Brown saying, this young man doesn't even live in Harvey. He's fighting for what? So that was kind of stupid too. And then Clark continues his rant. He says, you go to the county and you say, I violate your rights. Why don't you ask them where our money is? Okay, well, that's not really the point. But anyway, I don't know what he's talking about. He says, we didn't increase taxes. I don't think that's the case. I think for the property taxes, what the city does every year is I believe they do the minimum before the minimum amount that the property taxes can go up before they have to have a public hearing. He says, I don't increase the water bills. That's Chicago. Keep my name out your mouth. Very rude, condescending, ghetto way to speak to your residents. Like, what the hell kind of mayor is he? And that's not entirely true because we pay a higher rate for our water, Harvey, even though we buy it directly from Chicago, than our customer towns. So again, why? That's not Chicago's fault. That's on you, Clark. He says the state comptroller is garnishing our taxes. Oh, they stole our money. Well, that's because Harvey under you hasn't paid its bills. So of course they're going to garnish. And then he said we can't afford the software that would show the finances in real time because it's too expensive. So stop comparing us to other towns that have more money. BS, Clark. BS. You can always pay for your shit. You pay for brand new vehicles for you and other of your employees. You pay for we pay really for a driver for you for 24-hour protection, for all sorts of stuff. So it's not that we can't pay, it's because he doesn't want to pay. All right, so that was that. Any questions about the oops, trying to find the papers now. Any questions about the budget meeting? Because then I'll go on to the city council meeting. Yay! Okay. Louise says, "What about public comment or stating Rogers doesn't hold community meetings?" Yes, it's true. He really does not. That comptroller is a joke, completely unprofessional, unprepared. Right. He says nothing. And he really, I think he does know where all the money is. I mean, he's not going to say because Clark pays him so much money. He makes ridiculous amount of money. Comptroller is unprepared on purpose. Exactly, Mandy. It's not because he's dumb. It's not because he doesn't know where the money is. But Clark, if he actually told where the money was, obviously Clark would fire him, right? So. Robert Hunt presents better than the comptroller. Waste of time. Yep, nothing. He's told us absolutely nothing. So, all right. So let's move on to. Then we had like a little break. Come on, internet, please. See how whiny he's so condescending and mean and whiny. He's like, "Damn, can't y'all meet me halfway?" We're like, "What in the hell are you talking about, Clark?" Okay. Oh, and then I think he goes on for a while, right? See, I just saved you a whole bunch of time. Oh yeah, he even comes down and starts preaching, like preaching to the people. But it's just a lot of BS. Trust me, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss anything really. In that respect.
It cost us $150,000.
Oh, cost us money. Then we have a break, and then we start the movement. They were the first Black families.
To come to the throne. But we thank you for just this moment.
Oh, his prayers, whatever. Waste. By the way, Alderwoman Drewinski is absent this whole evening. Everyone else, I believe, is present. Well, the clerk was not present. So then we go into approving minutes and bills, which none of, I'm sure, should have been approved because, again, and we don't get to see them. We should be seeing them before every meeting. So they don't follow that best practice at all.
That's number one. We don't have to do a bid or everything on professional service. Number two, is the council already voted on this? And if you look in the contract, there's an automatic renewal period.
Okay, yes. Okay, so then we're into new business. Voting on Axon, a contract with Axon to renew body camera subscription. So Tracy Key says, well, shouldn't we refer this to the Finance and Public Safety Committees, which I agree with. Randall also says, well, I don't want to miss the state deadline. And then Colby Chapman asks, can the city even afford to renew this contract? Right? Great question. Do you think Mayor answers any of it? No. He shuts down debate. Calls for a vote. It passes because the 4 Alder yes men vote yes, and so it passes 3-2 because one of them was absent. But Colby and Tracy voted no, which is good. I agree with that because again, renewing it for another 5 years, that's a long time. Like bid it out again. Get some multiple bids. Then we move on to why are you whispering?
Financing for their food and groceries and things of that nature. The use of motor fuel tax funds for the purpose.
Oh, sorry, I went too fast. It's fine. Most of these, unfortunately, he doesn't do much. Then we went to voting on 2 new grocery taxes. Now, the whole thing about this is that the state of Illinois decided to drop its grocery tax. It used to have a 1% tax on groceries, and then from that revenue, that part of that revenue would go back to municipalities. So, no, Harvey's not the only municipality that is now putting in its own tax to sort of make up for that. But why do we need to do that? Don't add any more friggin' taxes or fees before we get to know where the current ones are going. I mean, this is out of control, out of control. Let me make sure. um, Colby basically asked, like, okay, how is this working? And the mayor said I don't really know all the products that are taxed because I'm not a grocer. Like, okay, but then you want to do the tax, but you can't explain it. Unfortunately, everybody voted yes. I would have voted no for that. The next one was a resolution to give a Class 8 property tax incentive to Amber Packaging Supplies, 380 East 167th Street. No information was given. Everybody voted yes. I would have voted no because, again, more information needs to be given, not just to the alder people, but to the public before we should vote on that. Hey, guys. Okay, what did I miss here in the comments? Let's see. Even if you pay the water bill, it's not like Harvey's paying Chicago what is owed to them. Right. Jed's mom taught him that. I thought we was negotiating on a melon at a dealership off of Western Avenue. Somebody said on your earlier live, the body cams look worthless after the July 14th arrests. Yeah. Oh, you said it. Yeah, French said it. Then we go on to vote for accepting an animal control vehicle donation from Cook County Department for Animal and Rabies Control. All yes votes. That's great. I love it. I agree with that. The only problem is what Clark doesn't tell you is that he fired one of the new when we had that meeting after the lady was she had to have her foot amputated because she was mauled by loose dogs. I mean, it's so ridiculous and horrible and disgusting. So then the mayor agreed to this community meeting and they promised to train 2 new officers. One has already been fired. The other one, we found out most of the time, you know what he does? He works security. He sits in front of the mayor's 2 homes that he owns that he doesn't live in, but he owns them. And so we really don't have animal control. So great, we're accepting this donation. What are you going to do with the freaking vehicle? Because we don't have animal control officers. So I guess someone else is going to have to lose a foot or something because they're not doing that. Then we had a few more votes on one was motor fuel tax funds to fix some streets and highways, and everybody voted for it. I'm like, okay, but like again, what's the information? How much money and what streets are supposed to be redone? Tell us, people. Then there was a resolution for something about a joint funding agreement for 150th Street. And then there was also a joint funding agreement for a trail on Roby. I mean, I guess they're great ideas, but I want to see details. And also, how could it be a joint funding agreement when we're constantly told by this mayor that that we're broke and we don't have money? Now, of course, we can never prove that because they don't show us where the money's going. But do you see how this doesn't add up, you guys? So, yeah, everybody voted for both of those resolutions. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Colby asked about the Roby Trails one. She said, "Who's TVCH?" And then something about matching funds, and then the lawyer mumbles something, but you can't even understand what the lawyer says. So again, where's the money? The last resolution is very disturbing to me because they vote on some sort of open space lands acquisition and development for Central Park. Remember the Central Park project was the idea for for a park and a retention pond on Myrtle. And that is why Clark and the MWRD teamed up with the most evil plan I've seen in a while, where they forced longtime residents, some of whom were the first Black families to be able, as Harvey desegregated, they were a part of civil rights history, and they were able to buy homes on that very desirable street. Clark and the MWRD, many members of whom are Black, pushed out Black families from this block. And so I haven't seen anything about this open space plan or whatever for this park. We have a petition, more than 1,200 signatures, people saying we don't want that park, we don't want the retention pond, we don't want the church demolished, we never want people put out of their homes, and they have not listened. So I guess I'll have to FOIA that, because again, what are you trying to plan? And they never consult us. Come on, y'all. Can't you meet me halfway? Right. He says it in like a demeaning way. Then we go to public comment. So I saved you a whole bunch of time. See, I'm cutting through all the BS for you. Who was the first one? Was Glennis the first one? I guess she was.
I still take it for granted, often. I feel condescended to. A lot of the things that I've heard, from, various older people, I feel like, what did we elect you to do? You pushing a lot of things have been like pushed back onto the residents. And one thing, I've been asking for financial resources since I got here, almost ever since I started attending, public, city council meetings. I've been asking for, copies of the bills list, or copies of the budget, or annual reports, or whatever, but just to know what is the financial status of the city. And it's only until now, that that's being acknowledged. And, we were told just earlier that, we can't get a copy of what was presented to all the persons and the staff tonight, but we'll get it once it's finalized and be published. But meanwhile, we're, 4 months?
Yeah, so she made some excellent comments. Basically, she said, I feel taken for granted, condescended to. The aldermen are trying to push responsibilities that they're supposed to do off on the residents. I've asked for years for city financial info. I still haven't gotten it. Residents are being gaslit, that we're being called demanding and antagonistic, basically just for asking them to do their job. Spot on, Glennis. Bravo. Next, we move to Melville. Mr. King.
In the end of April, and
Move, I suggested that he does something outside of Harvey, because we don't take that, like the lady said, we have something to talk about. We have rights as citizens. I've been in the 6th Ward for how long? Practically 40-something years. And I think we've had, one meeting in the 6th Ward?
So Melville says, basically, our treasurer can't do her job because Harvey is illegally withholding the financial info from her. Absolutely true. And he said we spend way too much on cops at meetings. He did mention something about like a lack of meetings in the 6th Ward, which is Tyrone Rogers, which is absolutely true.
Charges of battery for the mob attack that evening, the evening of July 14th. After being denied entry, I waited outside until I saw Harvey police let Keisha Stokes walk out the back.
All right, so for my public comment here, I mentioned about how this past Friday, how Jedediah Brown, Raheem Sharks, Alicia Spikes, and Keisha Stokes, who had attacked me, Amir, his daughter, and they assaulted Beth as well, Beth McBride. They were supposed to face charges at Harvey City Court, even though that's not the appropriate venue for it, but they wouldn't even let me in. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm one of the victims. They wouldn't let me in. So I had to wait outside. Amir and his daughter go in. This is all related to what had happened on July 14th. Do you guys remember when I went to, oh, hey, Critical. Hey, Critical. You're up late, huh? So remember when we were covering those illegal evictions that Jed was doing with Harvey Police's protection? So we were there covering that, and then that's when the mob action occurred, and then that's when Keisha Stokes, she assaulted and battered me that night. So then I find out, or I'm still waiting outside on Friday, City Hall, like, you're not going to let me in to hear what's going to happen to my attacker. Well, I see her coming and walking out, escorted by the police out the back door, and then I find out later that the city fined the 4 attackers $100 and allowed them to leave, called it a day. No more charges, no nothing. They have never to this day been properly arrested, booked, and charged. Remember, they arrested Colby 4 times for doing nothing wrong, and then that last time they made her spend the night at the county jail. These people on the night of the 14th, Jed and his associates, they were put in handcuffs, I guess for show, and taken to the police station and released a few hours later. They didn't even have to sit. Well, no, I saw on the one video Jed was in a cell, but I don't even think the 2 ladies nor Raheem, I don't think they ever even went to cell. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. So I said, wait a minute. If Clark's people attack you, then I guess your attackers just get off with $100 fine and a slap on the wrist. Like, how the heck is that justice? That's horrible. So I said, proper charges need to be filed with the county immediately. I said, people are tired of politicians and their family and their friends that not having to follow the same rules as everyone else. And so I said, Mayor Clark and Alderman Drewinski, Randall L. Smith, and Rogers, when will you finally follow the rules that you hold us to? So, it's just more Jed and his crew getting let off the hook for committing violence. This is not name calling. This is not a personal beef, as Jed and his rabid cyber bullying crew, they like to call it, oh, you're just jealous. This is a personal disagreement. No, this was actual violence caught on video. I was assaulted and battered. Amir was beat up. They beat on his daughter, and then Beth was assaulted. But that was all caught on video. Like, they can't cover it up, but they're still trying to cover it up, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Come on, it's ridiculous. Jed booking, right? Yeah, paid by INA. Thanks, Crook. Hit the like. Yay. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Then next for public comment.
Yeah, she just walked
Out the back door.
Y'all trying to vote on now, we should have been had it last term, but you talk about all the woman Kobe Chapman doing all this stuff because of her aspirations or whatever, but that's what you did.
And then Chappelle speaks, and she says, Clark, when you were an alderman, you teamed up with 3 other aldermen, and you obstructed and prevented the city from doing business for a long time, which is true. And his goal, his reasoning in doing that, this is he was alderman from 2015 to 2019. His reasoning in doing that was because he said Mayor Kellogg was corrupt and he wasn't being transparent with the finances. And then he had Colby Chapman, my alderwoman, arrested 4 times, falsely arrested 4 times. And that's all she's trying to do is ask questions and figure out where the money's going. So total hypocrite. Chappelle also says, remember, there's a group of them, we boarded up homes and we never took money from the city to do so, and you still stopped us. The mayor harassed them nonstop until they finally stopped doing it because the city made it so difficult for them. And they were boarding out homes for free because the city wouldn't do it. They were raising their own funds to do it. So bravo, Chappelle. Then we had a newcomer tonight. Nicole was her name. She said she has come back from Naperville.
The tax revenue that y'all keep telling the citizens to go talk to, I can't think of her name, but to go talk to her about is absolute BS. That's not their job. First of all, when people's taxes are not paid, their houses are sold or their property is sold, and the tax scavengers sale, which they are not holding this year, they're holding it over to 2026. Second of all, you only have a 2-year right of redemption to get your property back. So that list of properties that you all are sitting on is revenue. The properties that y'all not selling is revenue. I have came to this building 7 times. I talked to Caesar. I also emailed Chandra, whoever's going to the gospel fest. I sent her an email over a month ago asking if she needed any help, if she needed any more celebrities.
So she made a few great points. She said the empty properties that sit are lost revenue. She said she's a realtor as well. She said she spoke with Caesar, who's the economic development coordinator. Oh, I didn't see him here tonight. Usually he's here at the table. But these are all the city department heads. See how miserable they look? Mm-hmm. She said to Caesar, how can you sell 300 properties yourself? See, that's what I mean. The city's not transparent with how they're getting rid of properties. She says, I've brought investors just as I have. She said that she brought investors who have offered to buy properties from the city, but they've been ignored by staff. Yep. My experience is exactly the same. So thank you for getting on that, Nicole. Then we have Miss Ruby.
By fallen street race. Help arrived Sunday afternoon, but I was unable to contact Ward.
So basically, she just said the usual, Clark is wonderful. He's doing the best. She complained that Alderman Tracy Key hung up on her when she tried to tell him about someone who had a problem with a tree. But I mean, I don't know. I can't verify that one way or the other, or any details on that. So perseverance makes perfection, Crook. Big ups, Bruham? What's that? Or bro? Did you mean bro?
Broham.
Bro man?
Broham. He'll know what I'm
sorry.
talking about.
What does it mean?
I don't know, like Broham, like broski.
Oh, but it's like saying, oh, okay. I thought it was like someone's name or something. I was like, what is that? Okay, cool. And then Jed's our last one.
That was what was the perspective of the Alderwoman Kobe Chapman as it relates to the reception I've been receiving in this city. And I've not gotten an answer until the last meeting. I heard your words which was keep going, stand up. And so when you look at the optics, and it's okay because I'll be able to provide a timeline. I don't know what you're looking at, but I've been working in the city trying to help the things that are affecting the city get resolved. But as of today, I have one of your supporters writing online that they're going to put a bullet in my head. And so as a woman of an elected position, I just wonder if you're going to say anything about somebody associated with you actually saying that they want to do an act of violence. But really what I want to do right now is I want to speak to you, Mr. Clark, because I looked at everything that I was told on my way here, and I've experienced these meetings. I've paid attention to everything that's going on. And so, sir, I want to say to you, brother to brother, black man to black man, to keep your head up and to the hills from which cometh your help, because when the enemy comes against you like a flood, God will.
All right, so that's a little bit of Jed. Let me summarize. He says, Ryan had a chance. It's over now. Time to move forward. I guess about relating to the stalking no contact orders and the judges that are protecting him because he is working with Clark, and Clark has political connections to the woman who can get judges she's on the committee that can get judges removed from the bench. So anyway, he says one of Colby's supporters said she would shoot me. What do you think about that? And most Harvey cops are doing their job. So I don't know. I have not seen that anyone said that they would shoot Jed. So I don't know about that. Okay, then next we have mayoral comments. Last but not least. Last and least. And Lord help us, he pulls out a freaking TV screen. By the way, do you know? I think I remember someone FOIA'd this. I want to say this whole setup is like $8,000. Like these people, this little liar in the yellow shirt. Okay, she's a liar too. He's a liar too. He's a liar too. But he spends money willy-nilly when it's something he wants. Like I said, he gets chauffeured around in a super expensive luxury SUV. He never has to drive. He always has security. So don't even believe him for a minute when he says, we don't have money. We don't know that, Clark, because we don't know where any of the money is. Okay, let's see. He's so full of shit. How is Colby responsible for his reception? Right. Please put a pin in this, Ryan. What? Oh, this? Wait. He's talking about Melissa. He threatened Melissa after she confronted him about speaking poorly to an elderly person. Oh, right, exactly, yeah. And Harvey police is incompetent, right? Yeah. What did you mean though, Louise, about put a pin in? What? I didn't understand that. So anyway, Clark, he pulls us out. He says, by the way, we filed the law regarding the comptroller. The comptroller has the authority to do blah, 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 whatever. I have to look at that again, but I know because I've checked the Harvey City Code, and the treasurer is ultimately responsible. The elected treasurer is over the appointed comptroller as it goes to finances. So I don't believe Clark on that. And Clark says, we wouldn't be doing anything wrong. Even if I tried to jaywalk in Harvey, I'd get in trouble. I'm like, BS, whatever. You literally get driven around and you get catered to by the police. You fired multiple police chiefs because they would try to do the moral right thing and legal thing and stand up to you, and you didn't like it. And so he says, if you're complaining, go to Orland or another town. Again, stop trying to bitch against your people you're supposed to serve, Clark. Some people want us to be divided, blah, 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 whatever. Then he talks about these citizen advisory boards. We'll allow participation so people don't have to complain at public comment. Of course, everyone will be appointed by the mayor. I roll. Categories are property revitalization, revenue, public works, public safety, seniors, youth, and animals. And he says, again, being rude to us, instead of focusing on the city, you all just focus on yourself and your ambitions and your future plans. He's so rude. And then he says, put up or shut up. Apply at the mayor's office to be on one of these, what do they call them? Citizen advisory boards as of September 1st. So rude and so fake. I was a block captain a few years ago under Clark. And, I think we did actually get a few positive things done, but I'll tell you what, that didn't last long. And then it just, no one met anymore. And that's how it is. He likes to get people involved so that they can rubber stamp things, but he's not going to actually change anything. So Colby says, hey, okay, that's a great idea, these little citizen advisory boards. How about you have applications available online, though, Mr. Clark? Because not everybody can go to your office. Most people work during the day. And then she said, why don't we have committee meetings for the residents to give feedback? That would show unity. We have committees. They just don't meet. Why don't they? And then, no answer was given towards that. And then Clark says, well, we're not going to have committee meetings like the Public Safety Committee, which was being rude because that was Tracy and Colby held a Public Safety Committee meeting. Was that last week or the week before? And Clark, Jed, Talania Smith, they all showed up with the police to intimidate and basically to crash the meeting. So yeah, definitely we don't want to have the meetings like that. we don't want to have meetings that you crash and ruin with your presence, Mayor and Jed and his goons. So I believe that that's it, folks. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. And I mean, look at that. Look, you see how much time I saved you? He just went on and on and on and on. Always he always takes way too much time to basically say nothing. And then we just walked out. You know, way too much police presence again. So as you saw, Rogers just went out. There's Rogers.
Who else came in? He was just like,
And the other aldermen, and then we were chit-chatting a little bit, with oh my god, 4 hours. Yeah, Clark talks way too much and says nothing. I was chit-chatting with Glynis and Chappelle for a little bit, and then Jed shows up, probably, I imagine, thinking that that people had gone, and not realizing that we were there, and seeing how he just got out of his so he ran into so he stopped by and interrupted as I was talking to the two ladies, and I hung out for a little bit, but I didn't stay that long because he wouldn't stop talking, and he had interrupted. We were actually having conversation before that. French says you're going to find what I sent you interesting. Okay. I wanted to speak on this for a minute. Their relationship is now in the open. Oh, okay. Oh, you were saying, Louise, you were saying as far as Jed and Mayor Clark, right? Because that I agree. I mean, it has been, but Raheem and Jed stayed after the meeting when everybody else walked out, and the police said everybody else had to leave. And so Jed and Raheem said, I mean, it's so freaking obvious, and then he's going to try to tell people he's not working for the mayor. Who did the PowerPoint? I don't think he had the sense to get right. I'm sure he berated one of the city employees and said, do this. That's how Clark talks. Clark is clearly using Jedediah to speak out against Colby. Jed wants his minions to attack her. Right. Exactly. Thank you, Louise. Anybody can see that. He's homeless too, Jedi. I don't know where he stays. Maybe he's staying with Clark now. How many cops? And Louise says, yes, they're definitely working together. It's so obvious. It's so sad. But I did want to find, let me go to, because I wanted to, for those who may not believe it, I wanted to go back to where you can see as we're walking out. Oops. No, not in the parking lot though. As we're walking out, you can see.
Hurry up,
Watch Jedediah as they rush everyone else out. There's that rude deputy.
Well, I'm glad you spoke up, though. Being as pushy as they usually are tonight. That's
Okay.
nice.
Now, of course, I spoke too soon,
Yeah,
right? And then watch. They're gonna say, "You have to lead."
They're not being as pushy as they usually are. Like, oh, here we go.
You can stay right here, but notice who is in there: Chelani Smith, the mayor. Anybody who's buddies with the mayor can stay. So they just mean if you're not buddies with the mayor, you have to get the fuck out of your city hall that you pay for with your taxes. They're so rude. Raheem Sharks, one of Jed's bodyguards, he doesn't have to go. And look
I
who's
noticed
here.
that.
Oh, wait, Jedediah doesn't have to go. I thought they just said that everybody to clear the building. And I don't know the lady that he's speaking with, but he's speaking with a lady there. But not only does he not have to go, I mean, Mr. Brown's looking real comfortable, just hanging out in the area right outside the mayor's suite. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he gets up
People
and
don't
is
have
kicked
to
out.
leave. You see how they don't follow their own rules? I love how they love making up rules for us here, but they don't follow. Only you have to, or certain people. Right? Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, this feels so much better.
Yeah, it was hot in there again.
Outside all day.
I swear they must turn the heat on to try to roast us out of there.
So as we saw, there were
All
certain
cute.
people that did not have to leave, which is how it always is. Shalini Smith, Jedediah Brown, Raheem Sharks, they were all allowed to stay behind because if the mayor's protecting them. So
I mean, it was
thanks,
quieter.
Melville. Great comments as always.
It was quieter at the close of the meeting today, but we still had too many police vehicles. And again, you didn't see Jed didn't have to leave. No one that's working with Mayor Clark had to leave. We thought it, but they both put it out tonight. Right? It's dangerous, Louise. Yes, French. FOIA police overtime. I'm going to do it, Louise. If you do it, share it with us. So that is it, my peeps. Thanks for joining. Anybody else have anything to add or any other comments or anything? Whew, I'm tired, y'all. No wonder it's after midnight. I'm like, I don't even feel like going through these papers. I did want to update you guys. I'll go through the rest of these papers tomorrow because I am beat. Tomorrow, don't forget. Let me look at my calendar. Okay, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Yes, very good, Louise. Thank you. Yes, you remembered. You're following along. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. tomorrow. Vivian's court or Vivian's hearing. Okay. So it's gonna be it's gonna be Harrison Courthouse. But honestly, I don't remember. I don't know if I ever knew the room number. But you should be able to find it online. Okay, so on Zoom, and I don't believe she's going to be there in person either. So I will just plan on watching and supporting on Zoom. Remember, guys, I know some people, including Vivian, was kind of frustrated. Some people were kind of frustrated with me last week, feeling that, oh, you didn't do this, you should have done this, you should have done. We all have to support each other, standing against bullies and whether it's Jed or whoever it is. Mayor Clark, against the bullies. Sometimes we might have slightly different approaches, but at the end of the day, I feel like the people that were lashing out at me, I think it's probably just misplaced anger, and I understand because so many people have been victimized by Jed and his goons that they just really want to see him face justice. So I get it, but don't make me or Vivian or anybody or Amir the enemy. We're doing our best to get justice for ourselves and for everybody else, but also remember to be compassionate in that we have to ensure our safety first and foremost. So it's not just because it isn't a personal gripe. It's not tit for tat, right? This is trying to make sure that everyone's protected and safe. Safety first. So that's the number one thing, especially after the July 14th, where people were attacked. Crook says, I'm Beach Street. Good folks. Have a blessed week and catch up with the family tomorrow. Yes, thank you. That's how I feel too, Crook. To add, just howdy, folks. Hey, Status. You came back to say hi. So, yeah, I sent you Vivian's information. So that's tomorrow at 11. Harrison Courthouse, not at Markham. But you know, like I said, we may not always agree on how to fight for justice, but let's all support each other. So we'll tune into that, and that's it for now. Bonne nuit, dormez bien, and that's it. Unless you guys, I'll leave you a second if you guys have anything to add while I put this away. I'll come back. Beau rêve, de beaux rêves. Yes. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.